Okay, also I should bring up my counter of how many episodes I've recorded today. Okay, there we go. Yeah, fast things. And this is gonna be like a minute stage. Fantastic. We had lots of stages that are a lot longer than that these days. Oh. Okay, can't do that same trick twice. This isn't really the most engaging obstacle, I do have to say, but... Also, it's still this game's old issue of just doing the same thing too many times. How many times do I have to pass this singular obstacle? It's not even a long stage, and yet it's still just the same thing over and over and over. I honestly do think that was a thing that was better about the earlier release of Marvel It Up. Non-Ultra had stages that didn't just repeat the same set piece over and over and over and call that a level. I'm not enjoying these newer stages that are just keep doing the same thing. I much appreciate that they have enhanced difficulty more generally. I think they really didn't go nearly far enough with that in the original. Oops. But really, jeez. It's just the same thing over and over and over. This level had one idea and used that idea like 6 times. Okay. But we can probably do a little bit better on that. See if we can get a diamond on this one. Marble is so heavy. Well, what was that? It's astounding how sensitive the jump height is to when you use the super jump. Yeah. Kind of want to try to balance when using that particular super jump. Going enough to the left to where I'm less likely to just run straight into the bar, whatever to call it. But at the same time, I don't want to... Yeah. Use it too late and then just run to this side of the platform. How much better was that? You could probably... Oh, okay. You can probably skip a decent amount of stuff on that very last jump. If you use it with sensible timing. I'm also assuming there's nothing crazy to do, like... doing some big skip by jumping backwards somewhere or something. You're like, I don't know, doing this or something. Could be the case. Might try to keep an eye out for opportunities like that here. Man, you just slide so much sometimes. This is just a stage I feel like would be at least as good if you just did the same thing fewer times. It could be half the length and at least as pleasant. Little bump. Okay. And I feel like my movement just going past these obstacles is fairly decent right now. Could be inevitably a little better. Like that could definitely save a little bit of time. That wasn't especially optimized, that jump. But I do feel like we might be at a point where I have to try to do something else to get a better time. It depends on how much better a time I really need. If I only need like 35 seconds, then I could get that probably just having slightly optimized movement and doing a good skip at the end. There we go. The optimal way of doing that jump right there, I feel like you want to be moving just a little bit down, actually, as you use the... Darn it. That was pretty good until I flubbed the end really hard. But yes, that one particular jump, I think what you want to do, because you have to use the super jump, but the super jump will usually send you flying way over where you need to be. I think you want to use it specifically as you're coming down from a bounce, so that your height is reduced just a tiny bit. I do this, and then, no, I use it when I was going up instead of down. But something similar to that with just marginally different timing. Somewhere here, maybe. I don't know. There you go. Yeah, it was just 35 seconds. Alright. I have suspicions about where this... where this treasure box could be. Either way, whether or not I'm correct, it's probably a good idea to get a good vantage point. This one actually has no checkpoints, it seems like, which is surprising. They usually are ridiculously aggressive in giving you lots of checkpoints in these stages. Oh, never mind, there is one here. I just didn't even notice it. So I figure getting a vantage point here is probably good, and I imagine that it could be in a bunch of different places. Like, my thought is that's probably in one of these little towers somewhere. Because there are a few of these you can jump into. Oh, okay, you have to just get to the other side. Yeah. Yeah, if up and forward and back changes. I'm pressing forwards here, and I'm just moving the camera with the right stick. Forward and back changes as you rotate the camera. That's really disorienting. But anyways, alright, so you get to the last checkpoint, and or only checkpoint? I don't know. I guess you need to jump over. Yeah, jump from here over to this here, I guess is the idea. I probably shouldn't have restarted it entirely. Whoops. And complaints about repetition aside, this is one of the more pleasant stages I've had in a while in this game, I think. Mostly just for being nice and short, honestly. It's not particularly grueling to execute, either. Honestly, after enough practice, it's like these spinners just aren't even there. They're just easy enough to jump over. There aren't any other, I can't really get there from here. I guess I could maybe be able to jump over this entire thing. If I time it right with the platform moving upwards, but that seems a little unlikely. It seems like a bit of a stretch. Okay. Doable. Guys. He's just giving me random stuff still. I'm not as impressed by the things I'm unlocking these days. They tend to either just be accessories, which I don't really want, or these generic colorful marbles that don't actually have any kind of like concept to them. This is a nice short one, man. Wait, I see it's a nice short one. And it's like 1:20 for getting a gold here. I could swear you could jump on top of this thing. Yeah. And the stage doesn't seem that long. And it's still that silly fake tightroping where you actually have guardrails everywhere. I assume there's no reason. Yeah, there's no reason to go up there when you're going for time. I don't know if it's really better or not to go for that. I feel like that time travel is actually probably worth getting. Anyways, ridiculously generous gold on this stage. What the heck? This game is just really, really scared of ever giving you things to tightrope on, it feels like. It looked like they got over that fear in one stage earlier, where you actually had to land on small platforms and then move across them to get a time travel. But since then, it's just not that anymore for some reason. There is this jump here, which is a place where the guardrails can actually make it harder, which is kind of funny. Well, didn't get the moving start I thought I would get there. But it's so weird to me that they just really don't want to... You just really don't want to make you move across thin things ever. Like, I know the one tightrope stage in the original game was way excessive. But they don't get anywhere close to it in this game, which is kind of weird to me because it's not like there's not precedent for tightroping in games like this being a thing that people like doing, and that is possible to do. Like, Monkey Ball has a whole bunch of it. Oh man, stupid spin. Yeah, controlling your spin becomes incredibly delicate here in this particular sort of stage. Yeah, I'm just trying to do the same thing but faster now, really, is what's going on. since I wasn't fast enough the first time, evidently. Yeah, I do like this one jump here. Like, that's actually tricky to do. I'm glad that one jump is there to actually add a little bit of challenge. Like, this jump here is not the same thing. Honestly, the hardest part in this jump is getting off of a running start on the very thin platform with ridges on it that slow you down if you actually dare jump off the ledge. Trying to jump through that, you'd think it's easy because you have more clearance, but unless you're moving really fast, it's actually hard to not bounce off to the side if you try to jump through this thing. There you go. Bleh. I messed up the timing on that part. And not that I was ever into Super Monkey Ball or anything, it's just, I know that tightroping is a thing that one can find in that game. Or franchise. Man, I swear these guardrails mess me up at least as much as they actually help me. Which, maybe that's the idea? That if you're trying to, whoa, move quickly, they actually become a hindrance? I don't know. Okay, that was a comedy of errors there. Yeah, good on my first try, and now that I'm actually trying to go fast instead of just, you know, learn my way around, I do actually fall frequently. Oh, darn spin. Sometimes I land perfectly fine and the spin throws me off. I'm still thinking of a spin the entire time I'm doing this, of course. Like, jumping is what gives me my... oh, trajectory. I missed a cycle there. Jumping is what gives me my trajectory. Like, whether or not I'm gonna land somewhere acceptable is more or less decided once I'm in the air. Not fully, but largely. So what I'm actually thinking about when I'm in the air is pretty much entirely just my spin. I'm trying to adjust so that I don't, man, fly off once I hit the ground. My inability to go straight when I start is still an issue. Okay, come on now, that's actually getting kind of old here. I want to get to new exciting places to fail instead of falling off in the same spots every time. Oh man. Thought I'd and you have to predict to fairly considerable precision how you're going to bounce when you land here. And sometimes I just barely misjudge how much I'm gonna roll forwards or backwards, or bounce more like forwards or backwards once I hit the... oh boy. Once I hit the ground. And I adjust incorrectly and everything falls apart from there. Okay. Ah! Bit by bit. Okay, dude. One thing that does throw me off here is I jump at this really? That platform there, I jump at from an awkward angle, which has thrown me off a number of times. Ever since I think since the first run, I haven't actually managed to successfully jump onto it. Which is not a particularly obvious place to have trouble, but... Although, granted, I also don't get there fairly often. Okay, I just didn't have the forward speed I thought I would have when I jumped. I don't know why. Just did not manage to judge that correctly for some reason. Oh. Bouncing off of these sides is so annoying. It's just that you're on thin-ish platforms, but every now and then you also get a strong shove to one side. See, like, I don't like that. I can't just base my actions on, you know, how I'm moving and how I'm going to land on this ground that is supposed to be flat or anything. If I happen to land just a little bit to the side and end up landing on the corner instead, it completely changes my trajectory. Okay, you need to move before jumping. It completely changes my trajectory. I think that, in a certain way, these ridges actually make the, so to speak, tight ropes, which, I mean, again, are wider than your marble. They're not tight ropes. Actually makes them more frustrating than they might otherwise be. Man, I can't do that jump anymore for some reason. I hate when basically the entirety of me trying to do a stage is just me trying to get back to where I was earlier. Consistency is not my strong point, evidently. Whoa. Okay, I didn't expect that much spin that time. That weird thing again where sometimes jumping just makes you have more spin, and I don't know why. Because there are times where I have whatever amount of spin, I don't move more in that direction, but then I bounce and I hit the ground, I have more spin in that direction the next time. For no reason I can ascertain. Was not trying to jump there. Guess I just didn't let go of the button quickly enough. Please, move straight forwards. Of course, whoa, okay, jump at all, also. Of course, me optimizing this very first part here is kind of pointless since I'm getting caught on the cycle on this spinning thing anyways. No! I wish I could just land on a platform instead of having to worry about the ridges on it. No, also, let go of the button, man. I'm never getting to the point that I'm not getting any further in this stage, I'm just continuing to mess up on the same things, which is not a nice thing to see happen. Like, how often do I actually get to attempt this jump now? There we go. Why is it so hard to jump on that thing, man? I still hate these ridges. I just try to jump and I move far backwards in the opposite direction just because I happen to be too close to the ridge. Or I get a big boost forwards. This combining with how jumps work, where you jump perpendicular to whatever you're touching, is really annoying. I don't know why I'm not letting go of the jump button quickly enough anymore. That wasn't a problem earlier. I hate having to try to get a running start on a platform like this. If I could just jump closer to the ledge, it wouldn't be a problem. But I have to jump early, otherwise I don't actually go forwards. Another weird thing is, too, the latest parts of this stage aren't actually... They don't really have much challenge in them anymore. They're more just... Hey, here are some Kirby things. Try to move quickly along them. For the love of God, dude. Honestly, I feel like it's probably faster to get the time travel here. I don't know about this one. Time travels do save you a lot of time, though. Yeah. Okay, anyhow. Next time we'll go for the little treasure box here, which I don't think should be too tough. And then we'll move on, and then we'll almost be done with Chapter 6. But it was still a nice stage. I'm just annoyed by those little ridges. And again, I like how this one's short. I see it, I'm just thinking, whoa, there's barely anything here, and that's fantastic. Alright, see ya.